What is going on, guys? Obviously, you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, so let's just hop right into this. We got a motor for the Prelude. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking, and I already know. This is not an F-Series motor. It is not. It is a K-Series. It is the K24. So, this may be a quick video, but I'm just going to go over kind of the reasons why I went with this instead of the F-Series, pros and cons of doing the K-swap. It's still going to be rear-wheel drive, don't worry about that, but we are doing K-Series instead of F-Series. And after that, we are going to actually do some more garage stuff. We got some lights sitting over there that we're going to go ahead and hang them up and get them lit up so we can start working on the motor. Also, you guys can see from the thumbnail, we ended up getting a subframe, steering rack, and I'll be able to show you guys this stuff up a little bit closer here in a few minutes, but let's just dive right in. Pro number one about the K-Series, at least this one in general. Cost effectiveness. I could not find well, let me back up. I bought this thing right here for $200. The complete motor, from oil pan to valve cover, complete. It had apparently jump timing and bent a valve in the head, and that is why I got it so cheap. But even if it was completely runnable, these motors are 3 to 4 times cheaper than any kind of F20 or F22. So that's a big one, cost effectiveness. Number two is definitely the aftermarket support is a lot better with the K-Series than the F-Series. There is a reason why the K-swap is the new LS for the tuner world. Just because these things have so much aftermarket support. They are cheap to find. There's bukus of them. They ran the K-Series in the TSX, the CRV, the Accord, the RSX, the Civics, and I'm probably missing a bunch of them, but yeah, I mean, there is millions of them made. This motor is close to 20 years old now. It is dead reliable. It can handle turbocharging really well. Easy to work on. They're cheap to work on. Yep, I've joined the club. K-swap the world. Now, as you guys know, this motor sits normally in the car like so. I got the intake manifold, half of it. Bought the motor with it off, but normally the intake manifolds are right there. And so your exhaust manifold, turbo manifold, whatever, header comes out like this. Well, a turbo manifold comes out like this, the Sidewinder does. But basically your exhaust manifold or header is coming out the back because the motor turns in a clockwise rotation. So that's normally how it sits inside of a TSX, inside of an Accord, if you got the K20, inside of a RSX or Civic or whatever. I mean, you guys know the drill. You guys have seen a bunch of K-swaps before. It's no big deal. But to put it in the Prelude, we are actually putting a rear-wheel drive, so it's going to sit exactly as it sits on this engine stand, except it's going to be tilted this way. So with that being said, we definitely have to do some work as far as bringing our intake manifold and letting it come towards the front. Turbo manifolds, since we're going to be turbocharging, obviously all turbo manifolds in the aftermarket go that way. So we're going to either do a custom one, or they have, I think, a few that are already ready to go for a rear-wheel drive application. That's pretty far away. Right now, I have it not touched this thing at all as far as taking anything off of it. Like I said, the intake manifold, the other half's in the back of the truck, but I have not taken anything off of it. I plan, when you guys see this video, I will have already ordered the motor mounts. Now, with that being said, we'll move to our subframe. Our subframe came in, and yes, this is an S2000 subframe. I had ordered this subframe before I switched my mind on going to the K-Series. I'd already ordered a subframe. It came complete. It came with the steering rack, the hubs, lower control arms, upper control arms. Now, I don't know who had this thing before and decided to paint the calipers, but they painted the back of the pad too. So that's real special. But they kind of missed a few spots. So we'll be taking care of that for sure, but came with everything. So when I went and switched my mind to the K series, due to all the things I said at the very beginning of the video, I was a little worried, I guess, about motor mounts because I didn't know if I was going to have to custom fabricate some or if they had any aftermarket ones. And luckily, Hasport makes them because apparently people case swap their own S2000s. It's been done before. There's a few videos on by Speed Academy, and I mean they case swapped a 240 as well. They actually make aftermarket motor mounts to bolt that onto that subframe. So perfect. So I'm ordering those motor mounts Friday. Don't know when they'll be here, but I'm going to put the motor onto the subframe and take it out and mock it up in the car. Kind of get a visual of how it's gonna be in there. As far as the transmission goes, there are a couple of options you can do with the K series. There is the BMW transmission, the S2000 transmission, of course, and a CD09 from a Nissan 350Z or Infiniti G35. They're both the same thing, but you gotta make sure you get the right one. Since we're turbocharging this thing and looking to get the numbers we're looking to get, I plan on running a CD09 transmission out of a 350Z. It can handle the power. The transmission in the S2000 is the second weak link in that drivetrain besides the differential, and I've already got a plan to take care of that. Yep, so we're gonna have a K24 from a TSX bolted up to a CD09 from a 350Z, mounted onto the subframe from a S2000, going to the rear end of a S2000, all sitting inside of a 1991 Prelude. Won't be the world's first rear-wheel drive K-Series, but I think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it will be the first ever rear-wheel drive Prelude. No matter what motor, it's going to be the first ever. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thoroughly excited. I can't wait to get this thing mounted up on that subframe and get it in the car and kind of see how it's going to look. I think it's going to look great. It's going to be weird to see it in there. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to go through and put new stuff. There's a lot of K-Tune stuff I want to do. It'll help us with room. This whole water pump assembly is one assembly. We're going to be taking care of that for sure with some K-Tune stuff. Also Friday, I'm going to order some OEM front suspension. That way we can have hopefully a rolling shell not too far from now. But yeah, that's about it. This is really exciting. I am stoked to finally have a motor. I know there's hundreds of K-swaps been done. If you can't beat them, join them. This should give us plenty of motor for the horsepower rating that we're going for and for turbocharging and to be quite reliable. Hopefully next video you guys see will be this, bolting up to that and going out there into that. But for the rest of this video, we're gonna work on this garage. As you guys can see, I've got it pretty cleaned out. Got a little table back there, got my rollaway right here, old parts, motor, engine stand. And right there is our new lights. So I believe, yeah, these are Barina LED lights. You can get them off of Amazon. I will put the link in the description. I've already tested one out. They come with 6 lights in this pack. This is the pack that I bought. I think they're 4 foot long. Every light comes with its own switch connector. You can go right ahead into an outlet, or what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these connectors to connect them together. So you can connect them together and you can do up to 6 into one outlet. So there's one outlet right there that we can use. So that's the only light I have. So we're gonna use that and we're gonna light this place up. For that, I'll probably put you guys on a time lapse. So let me go ahead and get ladder in here and get everything I need to get ready, and then we'll start that time lapse. All right, guys, I'm finished. You guys don't need to see me do every single light. I mean, they're not straight or even or anything like that. The cords are kind of drooping, so we got some cleaning up to do with them. But their sole purpose of lighting this place up is what matters the most. And I'm gonna end up having to buy a switch for that, so I don't have to turn it on at the switch right there. But for right now, it'll do. So let's go over here. So right now it's about 12 o'clock noon. And this is the garage with just natural sunlight coming in from those two lights. So let's go ahead and see what these lights look like. And as you can see, they light up the whole place pretty good. So that is really cool. That's gonna help out a lot because we're gonna, when the car gets to being able to be rolled in here, once all the mess is cleaned up and we start welding on the car, it'll be wonderful to have a lot of light besides just one little bolt right there. After I did the lights though, I kind of went back on my words earlier and started messing around and taking stuff off the motor. Got the rest of the intake manifold off, got the water pump housing off, which, I mean, the water pump housing on these K24 is humongous. That's the whole thing right here. Yeah, that thing is huge. It takes up a lot of room too, so that's off. The rest of the intake's off. Went ahead and taped up over that and the exhaust ports. Got the fuel rail off, obviously. The motor has been stripped down a little bit. Not fully disassembled whatsoever, but stripped down a little bit. But still plenty of motor to go ahead and put motor mounts on it and get it mounted up and mocked up to see how it's going to sit in the engine bay, which is going to be completely awesome. Stay tuned for more videos. Like and subscribe, and K-swap the world. Keep grinding.